All right. Well, thank you everybody who's going to tune in and watch this. Welcome everybody. So we're here with Drina today. I'm very happy to have her here. She's going to talk a little bit about her professional experience, her time as a student, and all kinds of fun stuff related to Stetson. So welcome, Drina. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just give everybody a quick background on you. So just tell us a little bit about, what you do now and what you're involved in.
My name is Alexandrina Andre, and I am a director, writer, and actress. I'm based in Los Angeles, but I like to call myself like a new Floridian. So I was born in New York, but I was mostly raised in Florida, Central Florida, Lake County. And basically I went to Stetson for 2 years as a transfer because I dual enrolled in high school. So I was trying to get out. So I got that AA and I went straight to Stetson. And after Stetson, I went to Florida State University for film school. That was another 2 years. So I kind of had like that 4 year experience, but just at two different schools. Got my master's in film. And literally, like a couple days after I graduated, I drove from Florida, all the way to LA with my mom. And I've been here ever since.
That's awesome. And I definitely understand the transferring in. I did that actually too at Stetson. I got my AA, yeah, and I was like, I went through summer classes. I didn't take any semesters off. I was like trying to get in and
Same. I was the same way. Like, and also I was really lucky because I think they changed the rules, but um my junior and senior year in high school, I just like fully went to community college. Like I didn't even go to high school.
yeah, I did the same thing.
I was like, yeah, this is I'm done
Yeah, it was
with.
like once my mom found out that I could get that much college paid for by high school, she was like, yeah, that's what you're gonna
Same.
do.
Same. My mom was like, just take the opportunity. So I'm really happy I did it. I'm very
Yeah,
grateful.
absolutely. So what drew you to Stetson then as a coming in as a transfer student?
It's so funny. I didn't really know about Stetson. I was kind of gonna do like the normal thing most kids that had went to the community college. They either went to like UF or FSU or UCF. I was a part of student government, and there was a guy in student government who was transferring over to Stetson, and he was like telling me all about it. And also, DeLand wasn't that far from where I lived. It was about like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. So I was like, like that's kind of cool. So I ended up going for, I forgot what it's called. It's something like when they do tours or something like that, like I can't think of the name. But I went to one of them and I was like, oh, this is a cool campus. And that was what drew me to go to Stetson.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's funny hearing you say that because it's like kind of the same experience for both of us. I grew up about 2.5 hours south of Stetson and could not have told you where it was on a map or anything growing up. And they sent me a letter in the mail and I came up here for a tour and I was like, whoa, this is exactly where I want to be.
Yeah, same. It's like I think because it's such a small campus compared, especially like in Florida, like everyone goes to the like what UF, like FSU or UCF or Miami. So it's like a small little college. And I remember meeting a counselor there too, because during the tour there was a like a counselor, I think they were what they're called. I can't think of what to say. But I talked to him. He was so nice, and he just like talked about the school and really he did a good job selling it because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is very convenient.
Yeah, it's amazing. So then, you came to Stetson. So what were you involved in as a student?
Yeah, so at Stetson, I was an English major and a theater minor. So I was basically I spent all my time in the English department and in the English building. And then I had a couple theater classes. Um, and I'm trying to think of all the organizations I was part of. I sometimes would go to like BSA events because I had a really good friend in the English department with me. Her name was China. So anything she did, I did because she stayed on
Yeah.
campus. I didn't stay on campus.
Okay.
So she knew like more about stuff that was going on than I did. So I did BSA events, and there was like I feel like there was like an English club or something. I I don't even remember, but I just know that there were always like English events, and they would like have speakers, and we would like, I really think there was like a theater thing. I really don't remember if there was a club or not, but I do remember, I think it was like Sigma Tau Delta. Yeah, I think Sigma Tau Delta is the English, like, I don't know, fraternity, sorority, whatever it's called. I was a part of that. And yeah, that was basically it. But I was really like, I had a lot of classes too. And being an English major, when I tell you that is, it's not easy because you're always writing something. Like for some class, you have to write some long paper or read a lot. So I did that. And then I also helped with theater plays. So like with my theater classes, I would have to like I think like help out like with building the stage, and like I remember I can't remember her name, but there was a costume girl, and she kind of like took me under her wing, and I would go up and help her out a lot too.
Yeah, so you definitely got some really good experiences while you were here as a student.
Yeah.
And would you say, I mean, that's, we kind of talked about it earlier, but that's kind of a good reason for, why you decided to come to Stetson, is you might not have gotten something like that at a bigger institution, which is great for anybody, that wants to attend one, but you really enjoyed that personal touch on things.
Yeah, I definitely think it was beneficial, because also going to, a film school, it's like Florida State, which is huge, very, very big school, but the film school is very kind of like its own school. People really are kind of like do things together, and you're really stuck there. So you don't really get to experience like the Florida State experience. Um, and I was in like smaller classes there too, but I think that it was more beneficial, at least at Stetson, because kind of like I think you said, like it's more personal. Like you kind of have
Yeah.
more one-on-one with the professors, and then also with like your classmates as well. Like I remember I had like a screenwriting class, and I think it was like 4 or 5 of us. It was like 4 of us, and because it was so, I guess, personal, or so like one-on-one, we really were like in each other's stories. Like we really cared, and
Right.
the notes were actual like caring, you know. So
Yeah,
I actually miss that. I miss having like that experience in a way, that one-on-one
definitely.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. And then is there anybody still from when, you were here as a student, any other students or any faculty members that you keep in touch with still?
Yeah, I keep in touch with all of the professors that were like, I like the amazing ones. They're,
Yeah.
I mean, they had my back when I was assessing, and they're still like, they have my back now. Like Dr. Snook, who like has been such a supportive person throughout my whole like film journey. I mean, she even read like some of my scripts that I did at Florida State. Like I would send it to her, and she would, read it and say notes. And on top of like everything else that she would have, and like Dr. Davis, who has been so supportive. I was at Stetson like 2 years ago. I showed like a preview of my documentary there, and they showed up. I was like, what? Oh my God. Like, and they invited me. Like, I was floored. And Dr. Whittick, Terry Whittick, she was there. And I went to Portugal with her with the Disquiet that program. And Dr. Ballinger's no longer there. Trying to think who else. Man, if I forget someone, I feel so bad. But yeah, like Dr. Barnes, who was like who supported me, is super duper supportive when I was a student there. Dr. Rajni, who she wasn't even part of the English department, like, and she supported my documentary when I was at Stetson, because I did a documentary at Stetson, and
Yeah.
she actually did a presentation of it when I wasn't even a student anymore. So yeah, like again, I think because you have those one-on-one moments when you're a student there, the connections that you have with certain professors really do last, and it becomes kind of like a mentor kind of relationship.
Yeah, definitely. So to transition now, so you talked a little bit about your experience as a student, and then earlier you mentioned, when you finished at Stetson, you kind of got in the car and just drove to LA. So talk about that a little bit. How was that journey and getting there and getting settled and everything?
Yeah, there's something like very interesting about my life because I feel like I'm always on the go. Kind of like we were saying, like I took some like taking summer classes and then taking fall classes, and I'm just
Mhm.
that person. I'm also a Capricorn, so I feel like I'm always just like motivated to do something. So yeah, I was very lucky. I was very, very lucky because before I graduated at Florida State, I got a job um, for a feature film that was going into production called The Endless. And I got it because the director, Aaron Moorhead, was a alumni at Florida State, and they had put out like this like announcement, like they were looking for interns. Like they weren't even looking, it wasn't even the job that I ended up getting, but they were looking just for interns. And I think I was the only person in my class who like reached out because I was like, you know what, why not? Like I couldn't just go and experience this and then come back. Because I didn't know if I wanted to go back to New York or if I wanted to go to LA. So I ended up like reaching out to Aaron Moorhead, who sent me to the producer, David, and we ended up having a meeting. And he was like, "Hey, like you're cool. When can you get here?" Because we were already in pre-production, and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm graduating like next week." And he was like, "Okay, so whenever you're here, like just let me know." It was kind of weird because it's like, oh man, I don't know like if this is. I don't want to say if this is legit because I knew it was legit, but it was just so like casual. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, when you get here, you can start work. And I was like, okay, cool. But telling my mom this was very interesting because she was just like, wait, okay, like you're just gonna go, you don't have a house, you don't have anything, you're just gonna go to LA.
Right.
And it's like you don't even have a paper that basically kind of says that you have this job, you're just like gonna go to LA. And I'm like, yeah, I like I'm going to LA and doing it. And she was supportive of it. Like she paid for me to go, like to drive all the way to LA, and she drove with me because she's like, "There's no way you're driving 3 days across the country by yourself." She took off time from work to go. So I guess it just shows like also like how supportive my mom was, and she really believed in me. And yeah, we drove 3 days. We got to LA, and literally we're in Airbnb, and I started working like the day after I got there. So I graduated, I think, I can't remember what day. It was like maybe it was like a Friday or a Saturday. I don't know. But I know it was like a couple days, I think like 4 days after I just drove with my mom. And she actually had to drive up to Tallahassee, and then we went. And so
Yeah.
and I've been here ever since. We ended up filming the movie though in San Diego, which is another crazy thing. So I was in LA to do pre-production, and then my mom ended up going back to Florida, and then we shot the movie in San Diego, and San Diego is 2 hours away from LA. So, and we stayed in this like camp because
Mhm.
the movie's set in like a camp wilderness kind of thing. So yeah, it was for about a month and a half. I just like staying in this like camp in the wilderness in the Descanso Mountains in San Diego. It was a very interesting experience.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So, and I know you've mentioned before in talking to me that you've been involved in film festivals before and things like that. So let's talk a little bit about that. So just tell everybody, which ones you've been involved in and kind of what films you were working on there.
Yeah, so again, I've been very, very, very blessed because my I was in my first film festival experiences when I was a student at Florida State because I did we had to do shorts. So there are some films like schools where you do like features, but Florida
Mhm.
State you do shorts. And so my second short and my third short got into Florida Film Festival, and it got into Sarasota Film Festival. So I was able to go to both. I wasn't able to go to Florida, but I was able to go to Sarasota Film Festival while I was a student at Florida State, which was actually a really great film festival. It got into like Bronze Lens, which is in Atlanta. It's got into CineQuest. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to CineQuest because I was filming The Endless at the same time. But it actually did really well. And the short was called Flora. It did really, really good around the festival circuit. And then I was able to intern at the Cannes Film Festival, which was an incredible, I mean, that was an incredible experience. And so we were in France, and basically just like being an intern and understanding like what this industry is, like what the the paperwork is like, what it is like to sell films, what distribution means, what being a producer is like, what being a director is like. It really like was a hands-on experience. And then also kind of understanding not just the mechanics of it, but just also like, you know, I guess what the prestige of it as well in a way. Like you kind of see like, oh wait, oh these celebrities are like real people, and like these these movies are kind of it's a business. You're like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, great experience. And then yeah, after that, the endless did really well as well. Like it got into Tribeca, which was amazing. I think it was in competition at Tribeca, which was awesome. I wasn't able to go to that one, but yeah, I just very very lucky. Those are the film festivals I can think of like on the top of my head.
Yeah.
But as far as the ones I've experienced, I went to Sarasota. I went to there's also this great film festival here in LA called the Live Score Film Festival, and they actually have the musicians live scoring like while the movie is playing. I had never experienced that before in my life. It was so cool. Like just like picture watching a movie and you have like the orchestra playing the music in the background. You're like, wait,
Yeah.
what? So my short reversed got into that, and so that was like super cool experience as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So then let's move to now. So we highlighted your most recent film actually on our alumni social media channels in the last couple weeks. Yeah, so let's talk about that, One Life to Blossom. So just give everybody just a little, a brief rundown on what it's about and kind of how you put that all together and made that happen. And this is like your really big feature film that just debuted.
Yeah. Well, when I tell you, life is so interesting when you put things out there. You're like, I want to do this, and then the universe will like help kind of formulate something. But yeah, I had been in LA for about a year, and I was like, I was working more like in producing like production assistants and stuff like that, and I was just realizing it wasn't what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to direct, I wanted to be in more creative rather than working like paperwork and stuff like that. So I was just like, I need to, I don't know, I was like, I really want to do something. I really want to do something. Um, and I ended up meeting Blossom at a photo shoot. And we just like met, we became like friends on Instagram, and I also think like I was like, I really want to do something. I want to do something. So I ended up taking a class. I can't remember what it's called. But it was like a class to learn how to film, like make film in like LA. Because I'm like, in Florida is so different to make a movie than like LA. LA is like permits and all this stuff. Like I'm like, I don't. It's like a whole nother life. So I was like, I need to learn how to make movies here. Like, how do I make something cheaper or something? And in that class, one of the assignments was like, okay, you should go out and try to do something for 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, let me like do something simple or try to figure this out. And I contacted Blossom, and because I knew about her story, and I was like, hey, I just have like this small project I have to do. Like, do you want to like probably do something? And she was like totally down for it. And then I showed it to like my like professor, and I showed it to like the class there. And there's industry people in the class as well, and they were like, this is really good, but we have like all these questions, like what happened, with nursing school, what happened with this, what happened with that. And I'm like, you guys, it's like a 5 minute thing. Like I could have put all of that stuff in there. And they were like, wait, but you should make this longer, you should make this longer. And then I had a person in my class who he also is in the industry, and he's like, hey, I have all this equipment and I can help you produce this because I believe like this story should be told. Like, but I was like, oh, but let me like call Blossom first. Like, I don't know if she'd be okay, with it. But I was just like, this is awesome. Like, I have to jump on this. And she was totally down for it. She was like, yeah, of course, like let's do it. So it just started like it was going to be like a short, like a longer short. And then just things started happening. She Because at first we were going to focus like more just like nursing school, and then we ended up focusing on like her surgery, because she was on a list. It's like a kind of a, I can't really explain it, but you know, like some surgeries, it's like you don't know, but you know you're going to get the surgery, and for some reason she got the okay for the surgery around that time, and so we were filming already, and we're like, let's just take, like, let's do this. Same thing with like the CNN town hall and situation that happened literally while like we were filming. It just, you know, magically happened. So yeah, that's how everything came together. But I would say our mission from the beginning was to make her story known, because it was an important situation that was going on. There were so many Black trans women and Latin trans women who were being killed, and no one was really talking about it. And it just felt like, you know, I don't know. I have this feeling sometimes when I'm like seeing things that happen a lot. I'm like, why can't we just like do something to show the world, like, or so, you know, like I don't want to keep posting on Facebook or posting on Instagram. I like want to do something. So I think I don't know, I just think it was the universe. It was wanting to do something, it was meeting her, and everything kind of just came together and worked out. So yeah, I'm very grateful.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's incredible. So we'll close it out with one of my favorite questions, and I will put you on the spot a little bit now. So what to any current students, you know, at Stetson, or maybe they're thinking about Stetson and they end up watching this, or maybe they've graduated and they just are looking for something to get into the field, or to just have the energy to keep going and keep fighting to get, you know, what you're going after. What advice would you give to anybody who watches this, who, even if it's not maybe in your industry, if they just are looking for some kind of hope, or something to kind of ignite the light, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, so I would say, you know, because life is so tumultuous, right? Life is such an interesting journey. What has helped me stay like resilient is gratitude, you know, be grateful for the little things, but also you have to believe in yourself, because you're going to always have people that are going to tell you, no, you shouldn't do this, so you shouldn't do that, or you're not smart enough to do that, you know, or you're not. It's like people will try to tell you about yourself or what you are capable or what you're not capable of doing. But if you know yourself, and if you, you know, truly love yourself, then you know that you can do it. And it's not to say that's going to be easy, but just remind yourself, like, like, I am able to do this. I am smart. I can make it. And so when that, like, mental garbage and, you know, when that inner voice is telling you like you're not smart, you're not going to do it, you know, you can hit it back with like, no, but I can do it. And you can remind yourself, well, I was able to get here, you know, I was able to graduate high school, I was able to get into Stetson, I was able to get A on that paper, you know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I have friends that love me, I do have, you know, someone that cares about me. So it's like, remind yourself when all that comes to you, and always believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, I that is when, you know, the bad, right, those bad people or bad things can come and put you down. Because like, when I tell you, I've literally, through even the small journey, I'm like, I definitely am not mastered, right? But even in my journey, if I could tell you all the times that people have just tried to stop me or tell me that I wasn't good enough, or tell me that, you know, even with the shorts I did, you know, at school, like being told like, this is weird, this isn't good, or like, you know, you're strange, or all this other weird things, right? That people say to you when you're even being a creative. Like, you're like, this is creativity, this is art, I should be able to do what I want to do. And then you even have people that tell you, no, this is awful, like, you're not good. But if you know, like, deep down inside your intention and yourself, then you'll be fine.
absolutely. Agreed, 1,000,000% there. Drina, you have such an amazing story, and we love to see all the stories and the success that our Stetson alumni are having in their professions and in their community. And you are certainly a great example of that. So I thank you for your advocacy and for sharing your story with us. And we cannot wait to continue watching the amazing things that you are going to do in life.
Aw, thank you. Thank you so
Thank-
much. It really means a lot.
Yes, so thank you very much for joining us and for sharing again. And I hope everybody really enjoyed this one because this was amazing. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye.